Welcome everybody to the Alpha J Show. I am your host, the Alpha J, and let's kick off this versus with two SpongeBob episodes that focus on Squidward after he has done a wrong but treated in two different ways: SpongeBob's Fools in April and SpongeBob's Little Yellow Book. If you know about either of these episodes, you would know that both of them have Squidward in the wrong, which leads to the Bikini Bottomites resenting him. However, they do key plot points differently and have the town react differently, so let's check it out. In Fools in April, SpongeBob wakes up and immediately starts pranking Gary. He must have had it on his mind sleeping or something. Don't know how to feel about that, but it's all in good fun when SpongeBob reveals that it was just a prank, bro. He also does an April Fool's joke to himself. But all of this is fine, nothing wrong with setting the mood to be playful. So let's look over at Little Yellow Book. So Squidward is a nearly empty Krusty Krab, and since this is later Squidward, he is not only an apathetic co-worker, but let's also add obnoxious, hypocritical, unempathetic. Don't get me wrong, he's also self-aware and clever at times, but again, this is later seasons. So just as soon as Squidward lies down, a customer lags between the doors with a ping of over 1080 and teleports to the cashier making no noise whatsoever. But then again, this could just be from Squidward's perspective.
Do you work here?
What the? Well, there goes my nap.
Why was the man at the table now mad to wait in line? Didn't he have the opportunity to come to Squidward instead of waiting at the table for some lame side gag joke? So Squidward gives the orders to SpongeBob, but he realizes he isn't at the grill ready to cook. So Squidward barges through the door and yells a lot, and all of this does not get the Sponge's attention. You would think for a book he's trying to keep secret, he would make sure he's alone. Let's go over to the other episode.
What's he so happy about?
Be careful what you say. SpongeBob takes wondering why someone's happy to another level. So Squidward finds out that it is April 1st and calls Mr. Krabs to try to get out of work. So Mr. Krabs and SpongeBob both trick Squidward by luring him into the Krusty Krabs in hopes of being Artist of a Month for this art gallery.
He told me to tell you, April Fool.
Well, it's been nice working here.
So I believe this is where the leading part to the big conflict settles in, so let's go back to Little Yellow Book. So one thing you may or may not notice is that they set up SpongeBob differently. One is in your face, cooperating with everyone in the town. The other one is in a barrel, minding his own business. There's a bit of Krusty Krab filler, but that just seems like a fix in bad SpongeBob episodes at times. Just Krusty Krab filler, but just any filler.
What was that imbecile doing in there? An old book?
What? Nothing.
So SpongeBob sets the book down as you saw, but didn't tell Squidward not to look at it. He didn't place it in a spot where he didn't have to worry about Squidward grabbing it, so I'm going to assume that he didn't really care about it, and later in the episode he proves just that. I'm going to skip the next few scenes of the Krusty Krab filler. Viacom is already trying to block me worldwide for their sloppy second show. Imagine how they treat me fairly using their golden boy.
If Sponge Brain is keeping the book away from me, then I have no choice but to read it.
I'll take that, thank you.
So as you can see, Squidward is initiating this part of the conflict, whereas in the other one, it's different. Let's go back to Fools in April. So he goes around pranking the customers, showing them spoons instead of forks, disguising as other people, and putting one ice cube in a cup instead of a couple like the customer asked. All of this while Squidward keeps bumping into SpongeBob, who knew Squidward actually left his boat in the earlier seasons.
You asked for a couple of ice cubes in your drink, and I only put in one.
I guess that is pretty funny.
No, SpongeBob, I do not consent. If they let this moment settle in, this would be very disturbing. But the whole point is that Squidward is getting annoyed with all of this laughing. It's almost as if SpongeBob isn't working. But I digress. He plans to do a prank of his own.
I must admit, my curiosity is piqued. I guess I'm piqued to peek at that book.
This has cephalopod lodge written all over it. Why can't people mind other people's private lives? So Squidward gives SpongeBob a bag and tells him it's for delivery. Notice how Squidward really wants to know about the book and doesn't respect SpongeBob's privacy? In Fools in April, Squidward was minding his own business. So we can clearly see that although Squidward initiates the conflict in both episodes, in Fools in April he doesn't look for trouble, whereas here, well...
And now, the diary of a moron.
Never mind him getting a hairpin from Mr. Krabs. Never mind him unlocking a diary with said hairpin. SpongeBob was barely out of the frame before he went to get the diary, but I guess he's just oblivious to everything, right? Squidward is somehow back in his boat during all of this. Is my internet connection that bad that I can't see all of the magical teleporting that's happening in this episode? Now you might be inclined to tell me that people can walk and read, but my point is, SpongeBob would be walking back soon and the windows are transparent. He can see through the windows and Squidward's boat is right there. He can clearly see the boat from his perspective. If Squidward's boat is directly parallel to the door and the windows are transparent and the doors are transparent, he should be able to see that Squidward has a book, and it's the same book that he attempted to get and SpongeBob already rejected it. And yes, I am going very, very specific on this because it makes zero sense at all. So I found something interesting. I paused this frame here where it says he cleans and he gets that special feeling from helping his second best friend. The first part is up to interpretation, but the second one, second best friend, so that's Patrick and Mr. Krabs? I guess maybe in this season that's plausible. But anyway, how did SpongeBob not see this? SpongeBob isn't even looking at Squidward while talking to him from the other side of the room. The fact that you had to force this part of the episode so hard really means that you guys did not want to go back and rewrite this part. I don't know why. It's very simple. Have Squidward in the back, have him here at the door. Simple.
You are gonna laugh when you hear where I've been. Squidward, where are you? Could have swore I just saw him.
SpongeBob's finding skills are worse than the GTA police. So before I go into the part where he actually interacts with the town, let's switch over so that they're both lined up perfectly. Alright, Fools in April. So Squidward is at his wit's end with this April Fool's nonsense that SpongeBob's going on about. Did Squidward inject those napkins in his head? Anyways, Squidward starts setting up an elaborate prank so that SpongeBob can get a taste of his own medicine. So now that these scenes are all lined up, I want you to notice how the Bikini Bottomites react to SpongeBob in both episodes and how Squidward acts when the town resents him.
April Fools! Oops.
There's a part of me that's saying, well, hey Squidward, how do you expect him to react? But then I'd be reading your mind. So as you saw, the town was concerned for him and his well-being. They also expressed disappointment in Squidward. So let's go back to Little Yellow Book.
What do you think of Mr. Krabs' new plaid kilt?
Plaid?
Hey!
These little things that they pulled out of thin air for this episode makes this feel slightly forced. Hairpins and now plaid? The joke is even funny considering that SpongeBob has been other animals before. Chickens aren't inherently funny, unless you put a cow next to it. Also, SpongeBob has seen plaid. Remember Pretty Patties?
I have to take my break.
If you already know the joke, here's an internet cookie. If your brother or sister or a child that you know knows the joke and is below, let's say, 11, that means that this joke has failed. The way that adult jokes work is that the child isn't supposed to know the joke and reference, but this one is so on the nose about it.
Yeah, cook me up a Krabby Patty with good old Fifi.
Patrick is so unrealistically awful in this episode. It's one thing to be a jerk, and it's another thing to be this. Plus, I like how the town stops laughing after they themselves were laughing. Also, naming an object isn't funny. But what do I know? I'm not a Nickelodeon writer.
Fifi, how did Patrick know your name? Have you been talking?
Out of all of this, he doesn't check or write in his diary. I love how they put all of the focus on SpongeBob writing all the time he isn't cooking, and now that he isn't cooking, he doesn't realize that his book is missing. Not only that, but there's this window here, you see? I mean, you guys drew it, right? No? Alright. But I guess he doesn't hear that either. I mean, he doesn't have ears, right? Also, is it me? Or are the Bikini Bottomites a bit out of proportion for this episode? I'm all for people being comfortable in their skin, but why is his head larger than his body, and his arms short, and her body round and lanky, and her legs incredibly short, and her neck uncomfortably slanted? Don't you guys have, like, assets or something? I mean, I don't really know about that part of the animation yet.
Oh, this is the best one yet. Get this. If I hear the Bikini Bottom Municipal Anthem, I can't help but take off all my clothes and dance around in my underwear.
Forget taking all of your clothes off and still having clothes on. Why does he want SpongeBob to strip? Is there something you're not telling me, Squidward? God, man, if those shippers were right about you. How did you not know he had your diary? He was on the nose with literally every secret. Also, the town knew he had a diary, yet...
That was that little dude's diary?
Notice in this episode, Squidward doesn't care and doesn't say that he's kidding and is actually happy that he did what he did. So the town still resents Squidward, but they're hypocrites themselves. So that is where Fools in April shines, where the little yellow book fails. You have to have your character in the wrong be in the wrong. Even if you didn't want him to be in the wrong right away, don't have the town be unrealistic. But let's go back so that we can compare how the town treats Squidward after he's done something wrong. Squidward starts to notice that he did wrong deeds in this episode.
Oh, she... Oh.
But it must have been pretty good to make him cry like that.
So this is where we see Squidward making the effort to try to apologize to SpongeBob, but his pride gets in the way. They actually pull off some funny moments in this episode.
SpongeBob, I'm... What? What?
Wonder what happened to that boat.
My conscience is clear.
It must have been pretty good to make him cry like that.
April Fools, jerk.
I like this moment. It shows that Squidward has, or unfortunately had, a conscience. So Squidward actually does apologize to SpongeBob, but the poor sponge doesn't hear it. As he walks away, he is confronted by his conscience, being pressured to actually apologize.
All right, I'm sorry, I admit it, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you. In fact, SpongeBob, I like you. I like living next door. I like hearing your foghorn alarm in the morning and your high-pitched giggling at night. I also like Gary, Patrick, Sandy, Mr. Krabs, and all the other people I'm forced to be in contact with.
Squidward being actually humbled and coming to this conclusion himself is what made this episode great. Think about it. Which apology is more sincere? When someone is pressured to apologize, or when someone apologizes coming to the conclusion themselves?
April Fools! You're right, April Fools! I just fooled you all!
I love how this is season 1, so it turned out to be an April Fool's joke, and Squidward goes troll on us. In this amount of time, Mr. Krabs teleported to put his arm around SpongeBob, and it fades to black. Now let's see how Little Yellow Book ends. Notice that in here, Squidward goes through the episode not knowing what wrong he did, considering that he looked for the trouble. Squidward also treats the town rude. In this episode, he is in his own head.
Oh boy, let me see one of those papers.
The town is a hypocrite, this is true. However, I'm going to assume you know this. They were told it was a diary and they laughed when SpongeBob stripped.
Diary thief!
Jerk! Secret stealer!
Billy, stay away from that mean old diary reader.
Yeah, unfortunate stuff happens to Squidward, let's move on. I'm not even gonna dignify these circumstances, it's season 10.
Wait a second. You're that diary reader. I had a diary once. Come on, fella! We have a special place for people like you.
Diary reader!
What? You read it too?
Honestly, this is probably the best punishment you can give to Squidward, to have a hypocrite be the one to punish him. I also like how these really new shows are open enough to talk about their own plot holes. I'm looking at you, Fairy Odd Parents. You know, someone can use some of that information to forget it.
You've never even seen my secret personal diary. Now that would have been really embarrassing. Through my art as an author, I have forgiven Squidward.
Oh yeah? Did you know he's reading your personal diary?
How did he reach it? 3 inconsistencies in a row. You know what? That's it. I'm done. Fools in April is miles ahead of this crap. Now, while I work on the next review, who wants some fried calamari? Please let me know what you think of this review in the comments below. And as always, I hope your time was well spent. And Alpha out.